The essential question for today is, how do you write an equation to model a linear relationship given a graph or a description? And we're going to be working with what's on page 391 in lesson 13.1 from the Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Advanced Mathematics 2 textbook. In that textbook, they give you an example here. It says, Greta makes clay mugs and bowls as gifts at the Crafty Studio. She pays a membership fee of $15 a month and an equipment fee of $3 an hour to use the potter's wheel, table, and kiln. Write an equation in the form y equals mx plus b, which we just said, what form is that? Yes? Yes, that's the slope-intercept form that Greta can use to calculate her monthly costs. And the first question there, well, before we go into that first question, let's take a moment to do a couple things here. We have some numbers in here. We have $15. Let me do that in a different color here. We have $15. We have $3 an hour. All right. We know we're putting it in the y equals mx plus b form. When you've got a word problem like this, it helps to kind of just circle the important information or underline it. All right. First thing they ask you here is, what is the input variable x for this situation? Input variable. Now, for input, it's the one that you have the choice on. Looking at this word problem, what do you think the input variable would be? And it's not going to be a number. Variable eventually will plug in numbers, right? But the variable is not going to be a number right now. It's going to be it's a concept. What are we looking for here that could be input? Something we can put numbers into. Something we have the choice of those numbers. Looking at this word problem, what kind of choice do we have with the numbers? What kind of choice do we have here? Anybody? Well, there's two unknowns, right? X and Y. We're working with two unknowns. We're not going to give you three unknowns at this stage here. What's one of the unknowns? Yes?
The amount of hours.
The amount of hours. What's another unknown? Yes?
The amount of how much she pays for a month.
Yeah. That would be the monthly cost, which is right there. That's what we're looking for. It's one of the unknowns is what we're looking for. The other one is we don't know how many actual hours. Very good. So, which one of those do you think we have the choice on, and which one of those do you think has to be calculated? Raise your hand if you can tell me which one do you have the choice on. Somebody other than the two, they've already given answers here. Bueller, anybody? All right.
The one you have a choice on is the fee for the equipment, right?
Well, now we said there's two things we're looking for, right? Two things we have for the variables. One is the number of hours, and the other one is the monthly costs. Those are the two unknowns. Those are the two we need variables for. So we're looking at either the monthly cost or the number of hours. Which one of those do we have a kind of a choice on? Yes?
Number of hours.
Number of hours. So for answer A, the answer is the input, and you should use complete sentences, variable is the number, and I'm sorry about my handwriting, it's bad with a stylus, of hours. Well, let's leave it at number of hours, but you could add in there, she uses the equipment, okay? If that's the input variable, raise your hand if you can tell me what the output variable is. Yes? The monthly cost. Cost is the output variable. Okay, so the blue's not showing up very well on the screen here. I'll change that to a better color next screen. All right, so now it says during April, Greta does not use the equipment at all. what will her number of hours for April be? She doesn't use the equipment at all. 0. So that's an easy, and we put 0. All right. What will her cost Y for April be?
$15?
Sorry?
$15?
$15, that is correct. It was just going to be the membership fee, so it's just going to be the $15. I got to turn off my notifications. What will her y-intercept be in the equation? Yes?
15?
15. Because remember, the y-intercept is where the x value is going to be what? 0. The x value will always be 0 for the y-intercept. So if you can identify what the value of the function is when x is 0, that value will be your y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 15. Greta spends 8 hours in May for a cost of $15 plus 8 times $3 equals what? Raise your hand if you can work that out. Yes?
39?
39 what?
Dollars?
Yep, dollars. Don't forget units. Units are part of this here, so we have $39. Remember, I'm sure your science teacher stressed the importance of the units in your answers. That's going to work here in math, too. In June, she spends 11 hours for a cost of... Well, it may take a minute there. Yes?
$88? Wait, no, wait. 33.
That'd be the 15 plus 3 times 11. Or, sorry, I should be 11 times 3, the way they've wrote it, which would give you a total of
48.
$48. Very good. From May to June, the change in x values is what? Well, what was the x value for May? The $39, this is the May's total. Is that the x or is that the y?
The X, because it's the amount of hours in May.
So $39 is the number of hours?
Well, it's the cost for the number of hours.
It's a cost for the number of hours, but remember x was not a money thing, it was an hour thing, right? It was a number of hours. So how many hours are we talking about for May? Hint, hint.
8.
8 hours. This is your x value for May. What's your x value for June? 11. What's the difference between them? 3. 11 minus 8 is going to give you 3. So we have 3 for the difference. From May to June, the change in y values is 0. Well, let's see. Well, the y value would be, for May, is the total here. Remember, the y value is the total cost, right? So the difference would be 9. Because if you do 48 minus 39, you get 9. So the difference there would be 9. What will be the slope in the equation? Change in y, change in x. Remember, change. This is your change in y, this is your change in x. Remember, slope is the change in y over the change in x, right? You guys learned that, right? Y minus y over x minus x. You didn't learn that slope formula? Okay. So change in y over change in x would give you what fraction? Anybody? This here is a change in y. This is a change in x. 9 over 3. So you'd have 9 over 3, which simplifies to 3 over 1, which would be the same thing as just plain old 3. So that's your slope. That's your final answer slope there. Now, going back to that y equals, we're talking about the y equals mx plus b. When we go to write the equation, is the y going to change? Or is it going to stay a y when we write the equation? It's going to stay a y, so we're going to stay a y. What about the equal sign? Stays, right? What about m? Do we have a value for m now? What is it? What's next? Ooh, that says my. That's supposed to be an x here. So we have an x next to it. The x should stay there. Plus the y-intercept of
15.
the 15. So now you have an equation from that word problem.